So I just got back from vacation, and while I was away, I did end up finishing one book, which was Lotus by Jennifer Hartmann. And it doesn't sound like a lot, especially considering this book isn't even that large, but I have been in quite a horrible reading slump for the past probably almost 2 months or so, and I was hardly reading physical books. So I was actually really proud that I finished one book. And thing is that I actually had originally planned on vlogging my experience of reading it for you guys and sharing with you a bunch of little vacation sort of clips. But when I was there, I decided that, what, I really don't like vlogging for YouTube. I don't really like talking to a camera while I'm away trying to be on vacation. It takes too much out of me. So what I did instead was I did little daily vlog clips for TikTok and Instagram, and I even posted it on my YouTube Shorts. So if you do follow me on other platforms, I'm sure you saw it, but I really had a great time while I was gone, and I really enjoyed doing that form of content. So instead, what I decided to do for this video is just share with you my afterthoughts review for Lotus instead of sharing with you my thoughts as I was going. Thing is that I did end up finishing this book probably a week or so ago, and I'm a very in the moment reviewer. The second that I finish a book, I write down all of my thoughts just so that it's all fresh and exactly what I was feeling in the moment. And since we are no longer in the moment, I didn't want to skew everything that I wanted to share with you. So what we're going to do instead in this video is literally read through the very lengthy review that I had written for you while I was away. I think that I did point out every single detail that I felt like sharing, and I really don't want to just naturally say it to you and then miss half of it and then regret this, especially because this entire video is just about reviewing this one book. So that is my plan for today's video, and I hope that you enjoy my thoughts on Lotus by Jennifer Hartmann. Before we get into the review though, I did just realize that I didn't actually share with you what this book is actually about. So just in case you're not familiar, this is a childhood best friends lovers romance. You're following these two people that were best friends as kids, but at 7 years old, the main guy in this story, his name is Oliver, he was actually kidnapped and he ended up being gone for 22 years. So now he's probably around 29, 30 years old or so, and he finally comes back. He finally got out of his kidnapping situation, which you'll slowly find out as you actually read the book. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but basically he comes back and he moves back in with his brother, who is still living at his childhood home where he had grown up, and happens to be his best friend who used to live next door to him is still living there as well. She had bought the house from her parents when she got older, and now they're going to be next door neighbors again. And this was her best friend as a kid, and obviously when your best friend is kidnapped as a young child, that definitely affects you. And she has been holding out hope that he's been alive this entire time. And then when he comes back, obviously she's going to start to try to befriend him again, and then obviously they're going to end up slowly falling in love. So it's quite a unique story, and that is more or less the gist of what you need to know in case you're not familiar with the book. So with that said, let's get into my review. I really enjoyed Oliver and his storyline. I thought that the whole idea behind his kidnapping was really unique and different, and I was definitely surprised when everything finally came full circle at the end. What I didn't like was that the majority of the book ended up heavily focusing on his and Sydney's, who's the main girl character, sexual relationship, as opposed to diving deep into what someone in his situation would be going through and feeling after everything that he's been through. I feel like we got the bare minimum of getting to see him reacclimate himself into society, as well as the backstory of what actually happened to him all those years that he was gone. And instead we focused on the fact that he's a 30-year-old virgin and is experiencing all of those type of things for the first time, which I think is definitely important considering this is a romance book and obviously that's what we're here for. But I wanted to see a bit more of everything else as well, and I felt like it was too much of all of that and not enough of the latter. I also was not a fan of Sydney. I think she was a cookie cutter character that didn't bring anything special to the story. Oliver was so amazing and unique, and she was not only a forgettable character, but actually annoyed me many times throughout the book. She really ended up bringing my enjoyment for the story down because the majority of my issues stemmed from her actions. She always had a sexual edge in every thought and conversation she had with and about Oliver. She brought unnecessary drama and jealousy to their situation. She was too push and pull with him, which is the opposite of what someone like him needed in those moments. She always overreacted, talked before thinking things through, and just made everything more dramatic than it had to be. Furthermore, a lot of things felt extremely unnecessary to me, even if some of it came full circle by the end. She randomly mentions that she had a stalker right at the beginning of the book, but we never got more details other than that one mention of it. And then she gets attacked, and it felt like it was totally brushed off from the majority of the story, and it felt super random up until the very end of the book once everything came together. So even though it came full circle by the end, it felt too random in the moment and threw me off while I was reading the rest of it. I also thought that all of the side drama with his brother and her sister was completely unnecessary. Additionally, I didn't like how every single character was focused on sex instead of dealing with the life-altering and development that is the basis of why they all are the way they are today. Like, obviously, somebody you know as a child gets kidnapped and then he comes back years later, that's obviously going to affect you. And I feel like it was hardly talked about in this book. Like, we really didn't dive deep into that, but we're getting off topic. Let's continue with what I said, because I did mention everything that I needed to mention. I feel like all the deep stuff was completely brushed off, and it made the entire book feel very superficial. That's exactly how I felt, which is what I was trying to say. But anyway, his brother constantly was telling him that he's got to get laid. Her sister's constantly telling her to bang Oliver. Her sister's sleeping with her brother, and then later his brother is getting with somebody else. Even the fact that Sydney and like Gabe, which is Oliver's brother, had hooked up at one point. Like, there was just too much unnecessary drama and information being thrown around, and it was all focused on sex, which really did bother me because I really wanted to focus a little bit more on all of the deeper stuff, and it never ended up getting there. And oh my God, did it piss me off. But anyway, what saved this story for me was Oliver. I really liked him and I enjoyed following his story, even though I wish we got to see a bit more of the moments and internal thoughts that ended up happening all off page. Like, I really wanted to see him grow and see what he was going through, and all of it really happened in between chapters, which bothered me, but whatever, it is what it is. Anyway, I also enjoyed the ending when everything finally came full circle and some of the randomness didn't feel as random anymore, as well as getting some of the satisfying answers to some of the questions that I had throughout the book, because she was pretty good at like laying out some questions and like slowly giving us hints and building things up, and I was very satisfied at the end once everything finally made sense. But anyway, overall, I think this was a great premise for a story, and it didn't completely flop in my eyes, but I think it focused on the wrong things and could have been a bit more memorable and hard-hitting story if it pivoted away from the physical attraction between the two of them, instead of focusing slightly more on the fact that he was kidnapped for 22 years and somehow survived. We got the bare minimum, but with a story like this, I really wanted more than that. So I feel like that is everything that I felt for this book. I hope you enjoyed this format of me giving you a review, because I feel like it was very stress-free for me to do it this way. But let me know down below if this worked for you, if you didn't like it, if you want me to just like naturally say what comes to my mind next time if I decide to do another review like this, because I would like to do more reviews like this where I just like dedicate a video to a specific book that I've read. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down below of how this video worked out for you. But either way, if you did want to revisit my review but you didn't want to watch this entire video again, I will have a link to my Goodreads down below where I am going to paste everything that I had said in today's video onto my review there. So make sure to check out the link below in case you wanted to, reread what I just read to you. But anyway, with that said, I should also mention that I ended up giving this probably around like a 3-star rating. I don't really want to like hard hit, oh yeah, I'm rating it this rating, because I feel like my words spoke louder than like what star am I putting on it. But I do think that it ended up very middle for me, and therefore I'm giving it probably like around a 3 in my head. I do think that there was a lot that I ended up very much enjoying about the book. If I wasn't enjoying it, I probably would have ended up DNFing it. But also I think that there was a lot that could have been, changed about it. There was a lot that I didn't really enjoy about it, and there was a lot that I wish was a little bit different. So I feel like it ended up very meh, as in very 3. But anyway, that is literally everything that I wanted to share. So I am going to say goodbye to you. So if you did enjoy watching this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel if you're not currently subscribed, because I would really appreciate it. But either way, I just really appreciate you watching my videos. So thank you so much for taking the time to do that. So that is all. And until next time, enjoy reading.